Hello YouTube, I'm Lantis, and I'm going to start to show you how I'm building out a box truck conversion into a tiny house. Or is it a box truck? Or is it a cargo trailer? Or is it a crawler hauler? I'll let you guys decide. Kind of a hybrid between all three. Let's go inside and see what I've got started. If I can do this with one hand. As you can see, I've started to do the installation. The box measures 101 inches from inside to inside. And I am installing 1-inch styrofoam on the walls, 1/2-inch styrofoam on the floor, and then in the ceiling I'm going to install 2 inches of styrofoam. Going to be one big cooler. I mounted this 2x12 to the floor with pocket holes. Then I'm going to put another piece of wood on top of it, again with pocket holes, so I can achieve a deck height over my water tanks. And hopefully I'm going to have enough room to store my batteries for the solar system underneath this deck part. How much further we have gotten since the insulation was put up. I've built a riser out of a 2x12 and ripped down a 2x6 to get my desired height. And the plan is, underneath here, to put 2 water tanks, each of them 100-gallon capacity. One will be wastewater and the other will be freshwater. Right now I'm going to figure out how I'm going to frame this section out for my shower pan that's going to be inverted into the floor. Alright, so I'm going to lay out where this shower is going to go. Shower pan. It's going to be going down into the floor in this section here. In order to figure that out, or where it's going to lay out, I need to lay out where the countertop and the cabinet's going to be for the washer and dryer above. Oh, I was sitting on it, it was a snake because it bit me. Alright, well that was easy to lay out. I just got to cut the materials to frame this in. And yes, that is a new blade. It's just a fine cut. They didn't have a rip cut at Home Depot to buy. Get up here and see if these fit. Oops, sorry, banging it around there. Hopefully I cut them just a little bit too long. Well, not too long. I want this to fit pretty tight. That's pretty tight. I'm doubling this up because it's going to support the washer and dryer and part of the countertop. I need 2 at 20. Now we'll go fit these and see if they fit. Worked out great. There's no fasteners in there and it's fitting pretty tight. I think it's going to work out fine. Let's get this screwed together and go from there. Alright, now let's put it in here. And then this is what the sidewalk screw looks like from the outside. Fasten through the side of the box. This is that fastener I was talking about. What you see from the outside. And then the way I have this orientated right now, after I focus there, after I use the Forstner bit, I take this fastener, and then the way I have that nut orientated, I just put it through the hole that I drill all the way through. Use a hammer, whack this end, and then these spikes start into the edge of that screw in there, and then I just back this screw out and then go from the outside, and I'm able to fasten it in from the outside, and then that nut doesn't turn inside of there, and then I'm able to sandwich this framing member to the outside of the box. And then today the plan is to get this decked so then I can start on the studs up the wall and be able to put in the ceiling joist to support the insulation. Alright, so I got the track saw set up to make these cuts. Let's go ahead and get it done. And then to complete that corner cut, I just use a handsaw, which I don't have out right now. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. See if we can do this on the tabletop with this handsaw. Yay, success. Alright, so we're lined up with our next cut. Alright, let's go get this fit into place. Alright, we're going to see if there's anything square in here. I hope it is. So far, so good. Looks like it's going to do what we want it to do. Super strong. So I continued and got the rest of the decking down. And then proceeded to start framing out the walls. And it looks a little bit unorthodox right now, but the plan is to have this framing on the inside of the insulation, and the insulation is right up against the side of the truck, or the box, or the fiberglass walls, and then the framing is going to be on the inside of the fiber, or the insulation. That way I can run my wires and plumbing inside of the framing, and it made it so much easier to put the insulation in this way, so that way I don't have to cut a bunch of strips in between the framing. And I made this framing 1.25 inches wide, ripped down 2x4s. Alright, so we're gonna make some more wall studs. I'm cutting them at 1.25 inches using 2x4s, ripping them down. Mini sawmill. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I got these outfeed rollers, and it really helps. I'm a one-man band here, so it's like having 2 extra pair of hands. Try to go too fast, you won't overheat your battery. At least that's been my experience so far. Alright, let's go ahead and assemble our tiny wall out of tiny studs. Unassembled tiny wall. Go put it in place. Cool part about building such a tall structure is This is like over 7 feet tall. I'm still able to bring it in straight up. Some screws and fasten that down. So I am just temporarily putting all this together until I get my water tanks, but waiting on water tanks and not getting anything done doesn't make sense to me. It'll be fast, take it apart, put it back together. See if these work. Being that this trailer is not level, I'm plumbing everything with a square so it's perpendicular to the floor. Pretty perpendicular. This other wall, get a line all the way up the wall. I used this partial sheet of plywood going off the factory corner, which should be square. But we'll find out in the future. What I used on the other side, so this side will be at least the same as the other side. As we continue with the build, I am installing these brackets, tiny little corner brackets up here to set the joists on, the ceiling joists, which will span the distance to support the ceiling and the insulation above. Alright, now come up on the other side. Got these brackets from big box store. They're 1-inch L brackets. Alright, we got those all put up. So what I'm going to do is put pocket holes at either end of these ceiling joists to fasten into the stud and the top plate of the wall. Make sure I put my pocket holes on the same side of the board each time. I have this jig set up for 1.5 inches. Alright, let's go see how this installs. Nope. Nice tight fit. Go ahead and put the other screw in this L bracket so the joist doesn't move on us when we put in the pocket hole screws. And for 1.5 inch material pocket hole screws, I suggest 2.5 inch screws. Get my driver.